Update. My girlfriend dated me because of a dare. Original post. My girlfriend, 17 female, and I, 18 male, have been dating for 5 months. Before we started dating, I had a crush on her for roughly a year. It was quite well known, since one of my old friends spilled it directly to her and her friends. They giggled for some time, but she never made a move on me or spoke to me about it. We're just classmates and aren't close. For New Year's, she hosted a birthday party for her 17th birthday. I was overjoyed and happily came. It was a great party, though I was mostly off to the side since my old friends were mainly mingling with other people. A few days afterwards, she came up to me and asked me to meet after school. We agreed at a park, to where she confessed she had feelings for me and wanted to be a couple. I was over the moon, and we began dating that day. Our relationship was pretty solid. We didn't get too many fights, but she wasn't all that affectionate, which I was fine with. We never got intimate and mainly did small things like cuddling. Skip to 5 months. She was in my home and in the kitchen making herself a snack. Her phone was buzzing and she asked me to bring it over. Her settings are when you can see the first line of the message, and the phone automatically turns on whenever she receives a notification. I took a glimpse and it was one of her friends. I didn't take a good look, but it read something like, "When is the breakup happening?" which immediately attracted my attention. I unlocked her phone since I knew her password prior, and I read a few more messages where they were talking about a prank they pulled on me. I confronted her about it, and she went silent. After some prodding, she confessed. During her birthday, one of her friends dared her to ask me out. She got guilty when we continued dating for months upon months. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, with a simple date at a restaurant. Now they plan to hook me up with someone and frame me for cheating in the next few weeks, so she has a valid reason to break up with me. It also gave the other girls a chance to spread rumors about me. We got into a huge fight, and I told her to leave and that we are done. It's only been a few hours, and I'm absolutely devastated. I really like this girl, and she decided that it was a fun idea to pull on my heartstrings. I don't know what to do. Her things are still here, so I'm going to put it all in a box and leave it outside. She's been texting me, apologizing and trying to explain herself. I blocked her friend's number since they were also harassing me. I haven't blocked her number just yet, since we have to get each other's stuff from the others' houses. After that, I'll be going no contact. Luckily, the school year is almost over and I'm graduating, so I don't have to see her again. Still, I'm really upset. It hurts, man. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. I'm curious about how she's going to explain herself. She dated you on a dare, to toy with your feelings. She planned to frame you for cheating. Her friends were going to spread rumors about you afterwards. They targeted you and planned to devastate you emotionally, then ruin your reputation. Why? What possible excuse could they give? Crappy teenager games, that is all, but feelings can be caught. How do I know? Had the same game played on me in 1998. Anyhow, now married to her and happy. It may have started as a game, but may not have ended as one. But how could you still have feelings for someone who was so ready to play with and break someone's heart? Also, not a game. This is just plain bullying. Because maybe she really wanted to date him, but the only way she saw her crappy friends accepting it is if it was a prank. People are weird. Bro, you'll get better girlfriend, trust me. Just focus on yourself and please talk to someone like your friend. But what if it's like Can't Buy Me Love and she really likes him now? She should have told her friends to drop the nonsense. I doubt if she likes him, that the conspiring of a breakup would have continued. I'm sorry they put you through this, but you must protect yourself from all of them. And for that, you must capture and record every messages, /mails, /vocal messages, /phone calls, in case they want to spread rumors that will destroy your reputation. Those kinds of girls have no moral or conscience. They're heartless. You don't have to blame yourself or anything. Unfortunately, too many stupid people like them don't find anything else to do than making fun of others. They are empty people, so don't let them have power on you. It's not because that idiot dated with you for this disgusting reason will mean you can't date someone who will really care and have true feelings for you. They're trash, and thank God you caught her and her friends, so protect yourself from their actions. Yes, do this, please. Make sure everyone knows what these girls did. Also, is not making fun of Opie. They're literally ruining his life and playing with his heartstrings. That is messed up on many levels, and honestly, they should be in jail for this. Now for the updates. I woke up to see dozens of comments and hundreds of likes. Never would I ever expect people to be interested in my love life. LMAO. I read some comments and I'm screenshotting her confession to what she and her friends did. Only if things go south. I'm like guaranteed her friends are gonna pull something, so I'm gonna prepare. I'm praying I'm able to get my things back without a problem. My guitar is at her place. I ain't leaving that behind. Now for the full update. I honestly didn't expect to post an update so soon, but since I did agree to pick up my things today while also dropping hers off, I don't know why I expected nothing to happen. A lot of you pointed out about she may have fallen in love with me during our relationship. It doesn't matter if she did or not. She broke my trust, and I'm no longer attracted to her after yesterday. She allowed her friends to talk trash about me and plotted to destroy my reputation. She's weak-minded, and I'm not going to further date someone who will pick their awful friends over their romantic interest. Do I feel bad? A little, but I tried warning her and she did not listen. Now on to the actual update. So I went to my ex's house with a friend of mine, since in no way in hell I'm going there alone. It was right before school. I didn't see my things outside, so I rang the doorbell. Her father came out and handed my things while I gave him her things. He asked if I had cheated on her since she's crying in her room about it. So, yeah, more of you were right about them spreading rumors and trying to blast me. I explained I didn't, and even showed the screenshots I had on my phone. I ended up sending him through his phone number. He thanked me and said he'll take a look at it. I told him if he didn't believe me through this, then look at her phone. My friend and I left to go back home and get ready for school. I'm happy I got my guitar back, since it's really the only thing I valued. After school, I got a call from my ex's dad. He apologized for the accusations and found a group chat of the girls and the hookup plans. He said he was going to punish his daughter and find these friends' parents. He got their names already, and he's prodding my ex to know where they live. I told him he could use my screenshots as evidence to back me up. Props to the dad for being calm about this. That's really all that happened. I know her dad and he's a scary man. He's 6 feet in build. He can be very intimidating. And I know my ex will give up the information. It's only a matter of time the girls will fall. I'll be keeping an eye out since I have a week left of school. If anything happens, I'll post another update. I'm not interested in finding their socials and seeing if they already started spreading the whole cheating rumors. I'm sure they did. However, everything was fine at school, but now it's the weekend, so I may receive some backlash when I return. I honestly don't care. I already got accepted into a college, and I'm ditching this place. I just need to survive a week in graduation. My ex's dad will do all the heavy work. Kudos to ex's dad for handling it like a pro. Not many believe others over their own children, even after proofs. Glad things worked out well in the end for you. Cheers. Tells you a lot if the dad believed his daughter is capable of gaslighting and slander. He must have seen things while she was growing up. Not to mention he was OP's age once and put himself in his shoes. He seized the opportunity to raise a daughter in this world, suitable to date and eventually marry. He also saw the opportunity to vindicate OP. Well done. Out them before they out you. Let everyone know that they were going to ruin your reputation and possibly your future for fun and giggles. No one would want to risk catching jail time because these girls were bored and framed them for fun and giggles. Also, why is she crying? She was fine trying to frame you and ruin you. Probably caught actual feels in the process, or maybe even had actual feels from the start, but wasn't able to admit it to her friends. No one stays in a fake relationship for 5 months on a dare. Your last sentence shows exactly what you should be doing. Staying silent to your peers, talk to the adult that wanted to talk, and allowing the effects of her decision catch up to her. Little did you know it could turn out this way, but boy will she never forget. Good for you for being calm, detached, and level-headed while looking to the future. Remember, if you don't speak about this at school, mystery surrounds you and you have the power. Speak one word, and you lose it through the telephone game. Keep holding your head up high. Very impressed and glad you're going to make a really good boyfriend to someone that is authentically compatible with you. Cheers to college as well. You got this. Next story. The girl that rejected me is now stalking me, and is getting creepier every day. This all started about a month ago. There was this girl, let's call her Sarah, 20, who I, male 19, had a huge crush on. We had some classes together in college, and even studied together sometimes. One day, I mustered up the courage to ask her out on a date, but she turned me down, something about not wanting to ruin our friendship. I was a bit hurt, but respected her decision and tried to move on. Everything seemed normal for the first week or so after that, but then I started noticing Sarah everywhere. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence. Maybe we had more common interests than I initially thought. Like, what are the chances, right? But as the time went on, this became clear that this was more than just chance encounters. Sarah would be waiting outside my classes, claiming that she needed to talk to our mutual professor, a professor who is pretty close to me and I look up to. She would show up at my favorite coffee shop just minutes after I arrived. She even accidentally bumped into me at the grocery store multiple times. The creepiest part, whenever we crossed paths, she would give me this intense stare that sent chills down my spine, instead of just talking to me about anything. I started getting paranoid and decided to confront her about it one day when she showed up at a library where I was studying alone. She acted surprised and denied everything, but there was something off about her reaction, like she was hiding something. Things got worse from there. One night, as I returned to my apartment after hanging out with friends, I noticed that my door was slightly ajar. My heart raced as I entered my home and discovered that someone had been inside. Nothing appeared to be stolen, but there were subtle signs of intrusion. Some of my belongings had been moved around or misplaced, as if whoever broke in didn't plan on stealing but rather tried to find something for me. Then came the messages. Random texts from unknown numbers containing vague threats and warnings. You should have given her a chance. She's not the one you should have rejected. She's watching you. These messages don't even make sense, because if it's the person I'm thinking, then I wasn't the one who rejected her. Anyways, I tried blocking the numbers, but that was pointless as new ones would always appear. So, I changed my numbers, and I even went to the police. But without any solid evidence or proof, they couldn't do much to help me, as they suggested. If the text is only evidence, then just change your phone number as someone can just be pranking you. However, I haven't told anyone about anything as I didn't want to look dumb because they will just say it's chances. Now, every day is a constant state of unease and fear. I've tried changing my routine and avoiding places where I might run into her, but she still finds me. I can't shake the feeling that she's always watching me, lurking in the shadows, as cringy as those sounds. I'm not sure what she wants or why she's doing this, as I tried talking about this with her already. All I know is that it's getting creepier by the day, and I'm not sure how much more I can take. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Any advice on how to deal with a stalker who used to be a friend? Edit. Let me provide some background context. Sarah and I have been friends for only a month. However, I started developing feelings for her due to her kindness. She helped me study for our class together and seemed to be the smartest in our class. We usually studied at my apartment. Sarah was aware that my door could sometimes be jammed, making it difficult to lock or unlock. I reported this issue when I first moved in, but nothing was done about it. As a result, I would avoid leaving any valuables in my apartment. Now for the comments. I would check around your apartment to make sure she didn't stick a camera somewhere if she was the one who broke in. How creepy. Sorry this is happening to you. I think there's some info online or YouTube that helps you check areas for hidden cameras. I think mostly to help people with Airbnb and such. Opie, maybe you can have your friend tail you a bit and try to get a video of her stalking you? I suggest setting up some cameras yourself to be safe. If this is real, that's effing scary. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Please do check for cameras and maybe an AirTag or other type of tracking device. When she bumps into you, are you carrying or wearing something you wear all the time? If you have a car, check it for a tracking device too. Could even be an app she installed on your phone or some location sharing SM app. If you do find something, leave it as is and go straight to the police so they can figure out who put it there. Take care of yourself. If you have an Android phone, you can download the AirGuard app. It's a free and open source app developed for research by a German university that monitors for tracking devices like AirTags that rely on connecting momentarily via Bluetooth to random supported phones to send tracking information. It scans periodically for tracking devices and will alert you if it detects the same tracking device near you in multiple locations in a certain time frame, and can connect to AirTags and play a noise on them to aid in finding nefariously hidden ones. You might have to fiddle with settings to get it to not be put to sleep by Android, trying to save battery. But it alerts me about the AirTag I put in my own truck almost every day on my way home from work. I would start keeping a record of where you are when you see her, and snap a picture to time and dates everything. I would start recording every conversation with her, especially the ones when you're asking her why she's there and for what reason. Especially if it's somewhere not necessarily commonplace. Definitely check your apartment for listening devices and cameras. If you find none, it's time to put up some of your own, especially around windows or doors where you can see who's lurking around you. If she's watching you, you might be able to see her car parked outside or literally hiding in bushes. If your apartment is higher off the ground, then focus on public streets that can still be legal to record. Most importantly, you need to tell someone you think she's stalking you, even if they think you're crazy. Ask them to observe her patterns of behavior if they know her. And if you don't, establish a safe word or code to use if you're in trouble, or if she starts to pretend to be someone important in your life. She can start to turn others on you if she gets the first word, so don't let her. You need to start this conversation with evidence first before she does. Otherwise, it could be harder to defend yourself later on. Mini update. I have read your comments and I haven't found any hidden cameras in my place. If there is one, it's hidden so well that I can't find it. I cannot explain her behavior after all this, since I am not a psychological professional. I've heard stories about men being rejected and then stalking their love interest or ex-partner, but I've never encountered a situation like this. For now, that's all the information I have to share. Am I the a-hole for suing my ex and her boyfriend? Plus updates. My ex and I divorced 3 years ago. She was cheating, but at this point, I don't care about the relationship anymore. The pending lawsuit has nothing to do with her or him, but rather their actions. My ex and I have a son, 13 male, that we split time with 50-50. He's a great kid. That interests have changed a lot, to be honest, as I imagine more kids/teenagers tend to do through the years. One thing my son was heavily into at some point was Legos. He uses to play with them all the time, and personally, I think they're a great toy for different reasons. I used to love playing them with him, and to this day, I still collect boxes that I'll leave unopened as a collection. Well, when my ex and I divorced, she got with someone who loved Legos more, I guess. From what I know, he loves making creations and building the sets in. I don't care. Seems cool. He does one thing I think is very, very weird though. He uses crazy glue so that the sets can't break or pieces can't be lost. It seems so weird to me. The issue is, I was out of town for all 3 days of last week for medical reasons, and my son wanted to get his PS4 so he could play it at his mom's. This isn't out of the ordinary at all, and he has a key, so he let me know he would be stopping over for it. I told him to have fun when I saw him on the entry camera. My wife's husband was with him, which was a no-no, and I told him via speaker to not go in and to wait on the porch. He flinched, but walked in anyway. I sent my ex a text telling her to call him and tell him he's 1 minute away from a cop call. He left my home, but with a bag in hand, which I didn't think much of because my son had his games too. Well, my son texted me later that evening and said he didn't know it at the time, but he's pretty sure the boyfriend took some of my sets. These are all old sets, and the two are worth big money. When I got home, I confirmed the missing sets and called my ex. She had no idea, but he admitted he took them, but it was so son could have the sets to complete his collection. My son doesn't even like Legos anymore, and told his mom he wouldn't steal from me. My wife asked how much it would cost to replace them, and unfortunately it's more than their savings. Actually, it would take their house down payment, plus more. I told them if they didn't pay in 2 weeks, I was suing and pressing charges, and the price of the sets makes it a felony. My ex and her husband are saving for a house, which would give my son more space when he's there. But those sets were going to help pay for his education someday, or a home of his own. I filed a police report and have talked to a lawyer, and we're moving forward with the suit. Everyone is calling me a joke because they are toys, but I don't get it. They are worth real money. I'm not rich, guys. I needed those to help with my son's future. But again, taking this money does deny my son things at his mom's house. Am I the a-hole here? Added to Ed. The sets have been opened, which more than half their worth, and one was glued together. The damage was done already. The stolen items are King's Castle, Milk Truck, Legoland Train Carousel, and the glued one was a Star Wars Snow Speeder. Some of these are one piece of a larger set. So if you lose one of 5, you lose the value of one product, plus the value of the set as a whole. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Looking at it from just a monetary value, I don't believe your friends would be saying the same if he had stolen X amount of money. He shouldn't have entered your house without permission, and he shouldn't have stolen the sets. He broke the law, so he faces the consequences of his actions. It's about as simple as that. The man is a thief, plain and simple. He committed a felony and needs to face the consequences for his actions. Also, there's no way he didn't go in there for the sole purpose of stealing those sets. Not the a-hole OP. You might also want to consider going for full custody. You don't want your son spending 50% of his time with a felon and someone enabling a felon. Or at least a restraining order against a boyfriend, so he can't enter your property again without consequences. To be fair, entering a property without the owner's permission, or in this case specifically with the owner telling you to get lost, is always going to have consequences. Wait, so someone who you didn't want in your house entered your house and then took something from you? How are you anything but not the a-hole? They are arguing that I'm denying our son a bigger living space while she has him. This is actually true. Well, not by denying it, but it would take all their savings for a house and they'd still fall short. So they're trying to blame the victim. This is an easy fix on their part. Return what they stole and everything goes away. Are they fighting with you about this? They can't return them in the same condition. They were all opened and one was out together, glued. Opening the box takes a lot of the value away, unfortunately. For anyone wondering, the milk truck is worth between $2,000 and $3,000. The King's Castle goes anywhere from $500 to $1,000. The Snow Speeder is around $300 to $500, and the only cheap one is the Legoland Train, and that's if it's the 2016 one, and goes for about $46. Now for the first update. I know I haven't been here much, but I have read many of your comments and taken them to heart. I know my spelling is poor, guys, and I apologize for the format. Calling me names in my private message was not called for, and I am not a scalper. I enjoy buying these sets and do not intend to sell all of them, but I want my son to go to college and not worry about debt, so I want to sell the ones that I can to help. I never had a smarts for higher education, but my son is not me, and I love him and want him to do better. Around 4 p.m., I called the local state police and met at their facility. I gave them all I had and gave my statement. My son is with me starting tonight, so when I picked him up, I sent him into GameStop and called his mom. I told her I had filed charges, that I asked the cop to call me when everything was done so I could give him the opportunity to turn himself in. I wanted to be better than he treated me. I'll save her reaction for a real update, by the way. Then I told my son when we got home what I did and why. My son said that I did the right thing, because he didn't want his stepdad to think it was okay to do it again. And if he didn't go to jail, he'd rather be away from him so it isn't weird. And now for the full update. I have received a few requests regarding posting an update, and I did promise to update the situation once it was resolved. And as far as I have any say, the headache is over for the most part. I can't say that I feel whole, but I'm not angry about it as I think the consequences are something to respect. I read through most of the comments and really appreciate the time most of you took out of your day to offer advice and well wishes. I know I didn't respond to all of them, but your time and care were noticed. I accept all your judgments, but I must say your kindness blew me away while some took time out of their day just to be mean, which is on you, I guess. I understand Legos are toys, but I enjoy the hunt, and it's worth it to me. As I said, I decided to go to the police with a video, my statement, texts from my ex, and emails. I told the police I wanted this pursued as he had entered my house after being told not to, and stole valuables. They took everything I had to offer, and as of yesterday, my ex's boyfriend was arrested for a few different violations/loss. He was charged with grand larceny and breaking and entering, among a few other charges. My ex is really upset at me, and him. However, she bailed him out, so I'm guessing she isn't too upset with him. Ex's boyfriend has called a few times and showed up once. He left the used sets on my porch, and I'm not sure what he thinks that does at this stage. They aren't worthless, but their value is less than half. I told my lawyer he did this, and she was blown away. Then I sent an email to my ex telling her and him to stay away from me at my home, and I only wanted to hear from her if it was concerning our child. This was his first offense to my knowledge, so I don't expect him to do jail time. However, my lawyer said it was possible due to the amount of crimes and when/how they took place. Apparently, doing that during the day is worse, and he did it in front of my child, which doesn't help him. I expect a leg day probation, to be honest with all of you, but I'm very far from a legal expert. I spoke to the lawyer on Tuesday this week regarding the loss, and unfortunately, I'm looking at a tough road ahead of me. The pieces stolen are valued at what they sell at auction, which the local DA will decide which auctions are reputable. So, that could go different ways. Moreover, the fact the boyfriend broke up my sets were irrelevant. The lawyer said it would be like stealing one baseball card out of an entire set and burning it. You are only owed the value of that one card even if you can't get that one card again. The fact he returned them is an admission of guilt, she said, and that we could definitely reclaim the amount of money and an open set for each would be worth, but it doesn't make the matter better in my opinion. I know a lot of you thought 10 to 20K wasn't nearly enough for a house down payment, but in my neck of woods, it's plenty. And my lawyer recommended we go forward with a civil suit and I agreed. With that and the legal charges, I feel that is well enough. I will have enough savings and Lego stock, lol, to fund his 4 years at a good state school. I wish I could do more, but you can't win them all. My son has been staying with me full-time as he feels it's awkward at his mom's, and is pretty upset at his mom about the whole thing. But I'm trying to smooth that over best I can, considering the circumstances. He has asked to stay here full-time, which I support, and told his mom as much. I told her we could do it through courts or keep it simple, and I think she wants to keep it simple. I haven't thought much about child support, but I don't think asking for a small amount would be bad. I don't want to break my ex, but our kid should come first. Thank you to everyone for their well wishes and thoughts. Best of luck to everyone out there. Again, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Seriously, at what point did this grown man who knew he was not allowed in the house think that taking obviously unopened and collectible Lego sets to then glue them together was not going to go his way? Well, we are talking about somebody who glues their Lego sets together. I hate to say it, but I had this exact thought. The kind of person who glues Lego sets together is not the kind of person who understands what makes them valuable to collectors, as a rule. I will never understand the people who dismiss this kind of thing as, oh, those are just toys, without even thinking about it. Hell, I have a Lego collection that is all out of boxes and assembled, and that collection is still valuable enough to merit a specific rider on my homeowner's insurance. A lot of people fabulously undervalue something if they don't care about it. After all, how much could it be worth to you if it doesn't hold any value to me? It blows my mind that the ex really thought he could go in and steal the sets without any consequences, and then bringing them back. The absolute cheek of entering the house to steal valuables, while the homeowner is on the intercom telling you to get out, and that you don't have their permission to enter, and then acting shocked when your blatantly criminal actions are being treated as criminal actions. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother-in-law to get over himself and to quit holding a 10-year-old grudge? My brother-in-law, married to my sister, is a general contractor. About 10 years ago, my dad and brother was building a deck at my parents' home. They asked my brother-in-law if they could borrow his skid loader, but he said no. They prepared the ground as best as they could without his skid loader, but got to the point they couldn't go on without it. They went to my sister's house to ask again, but found out brother-in-law went out of town. They talked my sister into letting them borrow it, so she took them down to his construction lot and they hooked it up to Dad's truck. This next part I'm not sure of since I don't know much about towing, but from what I was told, Dad's truck wasn't big enough or powerful enough to tow the skid loader on a dump trailer, so lost control and wrecked. The truck, trailer, and skid loader were totaled. The insurance was barely enough to cover the medical costs and the truck, and there was none left over to cover brother-in-law's stuff. When he got back to town, he exploded. He threatened to sue, and things just went downhill from there. My parents are not rich, and he wouldn't have gotten anything, so in the end, sister talked him into letting it go. However, from that day on, he wouldn't have anything to do with our family. He doesn't come for birthdays, holidays, nothing at all. Next month is our parents' 50th anniversary, and we're planning a big family gathering to celebrate. We're also chipping in to send our parents on a cruise to Mexico because they've never been out of the country. I spoke to sister about it the other day and she said she's coming with the kids but brother-in-law's not coming. I was fine with that, but when we were discussing their portion of the cruise money, I heard him yelling in the background to deduct their portion from the cost of the skid loader and the dump trailer. That angered me. So after my call with sister, I called brother-in-law and told him to get over himself. I said dad and brother made a mistake, but that was 10 years ago and he needs to let it go. He said let it go when they give him the money he lost. I told him he's an a-hole for holding on to a grudge and putting money in the way of a family relationship. Sister called me a few minutes ago and said they're not coming anymore and that I was out of line. We argued for a bit and that's where it stands. I don't think I'm wrong for telling him to let go of the past, but they're not coming to the anniversary party, so now I'm not sure. Answers to your questions. Let's get something straight. My dad and brother are not bad people. They are good people who made a mistake. They couldn't pay back brother-in-law because he wanted almost $70,000. And again, we're not rich. Dad had to buy another truck because he needed it to go to work. On the other hand, brother-in-law had other 3 sets of skid loaders and dump trailers on his lot that day, so he could take the financial hit while my parents would be homeless. Brother-in-law and sister are way better off than the rest of us, so while I understand your reasoning for paying brother-in-law back, he doesn't need it. The cruise to Mexico isn't some millionaire trip. The total cost is about $3,000. It'll take over 20 people to pay for that. Again, we're not rich. We can barely cover $3,000 spread out over 20 people. So there's no way we can pay $70,000. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. Your family stole $50,000+ in work equipment from your brother-in-law. They didn't pay him back. By the sounds of it, showed zero remorse, and he should just get over it. You and your family sound massively entitled. Your brother-in-law is smart to cut a lot of you clean off. Not just that, I'm actually surprised insurance paid out anything. In the UK, this would be an at-fault claim, and more likely than not outside the scope of insurance because they are towing beyond their vehicle limit. Parents should be grateful all he's done is ignore them. I would have sued. Courts, again in the UK, set up payment plans, so their relative lack of wealth wouldn't be a major issue. Beyond that, I would have also reported it stolen. To be fair about this though, the sister shouldn't have let them have it against his wishes. It wasn't her stuff to share. He should be pissed off at her as well. You can't have a successful relationship if you're not on the same page. In the UK, brother-in-law could have claimed off his own insurance by reporting the theft, as long as his wife has no authorization within the company to loan out equipment. Of course, this could have led to the prosecution of his wife and her family for the theft, and result in a criminal record, prison sentence, etc. Which they would have deserved. He should have reported it to the police. I am surprised he didn't divorce Opie's sister, especially because only he went no contact with father-in-law and brother-in-law. His wife didn't, and she even expected him to let it go, and not try to get compensation for his destroyed stuff. Sister knew he previously said no, and that those are his work equipment, so she has absolutely no right to go anywhere near them, let anyone near them. And now they were talking about Opie's sister's family, giving money to the parents after how much they already cost her husband, his family, and company. Opie's family has no right to ask sister and her husband for cash at all. You're the a-hole. Opie's family's full of entitled a-holes. Opie, Opie's father, Opie's brother, Opie's sister.